Hello, this is Jack from tofluency.com, and today I'm going to teach you 10 of the most useful phrasal verbs in English. Now, these phrasal verbs are very useful because they're going to help you express yourself more accurately in English because they are used all the time in everyday English. And as you know, phrasal verbs are a big part of learning vocabulary so that you can sound more fluent and more advanced. So we're going to go through these 10 phrasal verbs, and then at the end of the video I'm going to share a couple of resources with you, and also I'm going to ask you a question. So go through all of these 10 phrasal verbs and then answer the question at the end of the video. Okay, let's get started with number 1. The first one is to get along with. To get along with someone. And this means to have a friendly relationship, to have a connection or some kind of chemistry. For example, I tend to get along with most people. I tend to get along with most people. Not everyone, but most people. So I'm quite a friendly person and I tend to get along with most people. Another example is, he just doesn't get along with her. He just doesn't get along with her. So he doesn't have a friendly relationship with this person. They don't connect in a good way. And here's one using a question. Do you think that they're going to get along? Do you think that they're going to get along? So again, this is a great one to know, to get along with someone. The next one is come up with, to come up with. Now, I taught this recently in a business phrasal verb lesson, but I want to teach this again because people use this all the time. Now, to come up with something means to think about a new idea or to create a plan. For example, if your boss says, if we don't come up with something tonight, our business is going to go under. That's quite dramatic. And if a business goes under, it means it ceases operation, that it doesn't have enough money to continue operating. So if your boss says, if we don't come up with a plan tonight, our business is going to go under, it means you have to think about a plan or a strategy, or to think about an idea, to come up with something. Another example is, I always come up with my best ideas in the shower. So when I'm in the shower, I'm always coming up with new ideas. I'm always thinking about what I should do. And I'm always coming up with new video ideas as well. Now, what I should do is have some kind of marker board in the shower so I can write down my ideas. But do you come up with your best ideas in the shower? Let me know in the comment section below. And then listen to the intonation of this example. Who came up with that idea? Who came up with that idea? So that suggests that the idea isn't very good. Who came up with that idea? The next one is call off. Call off. Now, we use this for events especially, okay? So, for example, the football game has been called off. I'll write this in my team's WhatsApp group and tell them, sorry lads, it's been raining too hard. The game's been called off. So this means to cancel. The game has been cancelled. But it's not used for other things. For example, you wouldn't say the flight's been called off. You would say the flight has been cancelled. The flight has been cancelled. That's why it's important to learn English through sentences. And I've made a video on this and I want you to watch it. So stay until the end of the video and I'll leave the link for you. The next one is put off, to put off. Now, it's often taught with call off because to call off means cancel, but to put off means to delay or to do something at a later date. A school teacher might say, we've put off the field trip until next week. So because of all the rain, we've put off the field trip until next week. The field trip has been delayed until next week. Now, if the teacher says the field trip has been called off, this means it's been cancelled and it's not going to happen again in the future. Now, it's often easy to put something off if you don't have a deadline. So if you think, okay, I should be doing something in English, but I'm not doing it, it's because you don't have a goal with a deadline. Now, get my book, The 5-Step Plan for English Fluency. It's free to download because it's going to help you create a plan and then create a deadline for that plan so you don't put off your English learning and the things that you have to do. Now, the next one is to make up for. To make up for something. And I'm going to give you another football or soccer example. So imagine that a defender scores an own goal. So he puts the ball into his own net, which means the other team scores. The commentators are saying he's made a big mistake. He's made a big mistake. His team and his fans are booing him. He's in a bad place. But then, 2 minutes later, his team get a corner and he scores a goal with his head. So he heads the ball into the net. And then the commentator says he has made up for that error. He has made up for the own goal. So to make up for something means that you correct something by doing something else. He made a mistake, he scored an own goal, but he made up for it by scoring a goal in the other team's net. It's often used in relationships too. So you might hear someone say, I bought you these flowers to help make up for what I said yesterday. So this is when you've been a naughty boy or girl and you have to buy somebody flowers to make up for what you said because you said something that wasn't very nice. So buying flowers is a way to make up for something. The next one is to catch up on something. And this means to do something that you haven't been able to do, usually because of time, but also priorities. So, for example, I didn't sleep well last night. I only got about 5 hours sleep. So today, don't tell my wife, I might go home a little bit later and catch up on sleep. To catch up on sleep, to have a nap later. So to catch up on something again means to do something that you haven't been able to do. If you miss a few lectures at university, then you might need to catch up on the work you have missed, to catch up on the work you've missed. And if you haven't seen my latest lessons, then you need to catch up on them. So watch them after this one. The next one is get through. Now, this always reminds me of the song, Gotta Get Through This. Okay, Daniel Bedingfield, I think. I can't remember his name. I'll leave a link in the description below. But this song is showing a really good example of how to use this. And we're going to talk about that in a second. But it can be used in many different ways. For example, a lot of people say it's really hard to get through to a real person when you call customer service. So most customer service lines have these automated answering phones, and it's really hard to get through to a real person when you call customer service. So this just means it's hard to connect to a real person. But to get through something might also mean to finish something. So I need to get through all my emails today before I go home and catch up on my sleep. I need to finish responding to my emails before I go home. But the song I mentioned before, Gotta Get Through This, means that this person has to get through a difficult period, to deal with a difficult period, and to overcome any problems that he has. So if you are going through a tough time, it's always good to speak to someone. Or if you're going through a tough time at university, it's always good to take some time and try and catch up on your work. The next one is move out, to move out. And this is often used when you're talking about leaving your family's house. So to move out of your parents' house. For example, when I went to university, I moved out of my parents' house. But then I moved back in after university. So to move in means the opposite, to go back and live in a house. So move in means the opposite, to live in a specific house. So if you're moving house, you can say we're moving out of our current house today and we move in to our new house tomorrow. So we need to get a hotel room tonight. So we're moving out of our current house today and we're moving into our new house tomorrow. The next one is look after. Now this is used a lot and we use this a lot in everyday English. So it means to care for something. For example, when we go on holiday, we need somebody to look after our dogs. So we'll ask our friends, is it possible for you to look after our dogs while we're on vacation? Or is there any chance you can look after our dogs this weekend? Another example is, it's hard work looking after children all day. It is. It's knackering. It's hard work looking after children all day. But we can also use it for things as well. So if a child gives his friend something special, like his special pen, and he lends him his special pen, he can say, make sure you look after it. make sure you care for this special pen because I want it back later. The next one is grow up. And you'll hear parents say, just grow up, will you? Just grow up, will you? And this means that they want their child to act in a more mature way. For example, stop writing on the walls. You're 16 now, grow up. But to grow up somewhere means that you spent your childhood in that area. For example, I grew up in Lancashire, England. I grew up watching wrestling and football. I grew up playing outside all the time. We didn't have Instagram or social media or the internet. So I grew up playing outside all day. Okay, so those are 10 of the most useful phrasal verbs in English. What I want you to do now is to go to the description below because I have some resources for you. Firstly, my book, The 5-Step Plan for English Fluency, and then also the To Fluency program if you want to get serious with your English learning. And then leave a comment below. I'm going to ask you a question. Here is the question. What is something that you need to catch up on? What is something that you need to catch up on right now? So leave your comments below. I'm going to respond to the comments that you leave on the first day. And I'm also going to go through this video at a later date as well. So leave those comments below. What is something that you need to catch up on? And then catch up on all the videos of mine that you have missed. Just click one of these 2 videos over here and go through the playlist to learn English with me. Okay, thank you so much for watching. One last thing, share this video. Okay, bye for now.